Geoverse Part 5 Prisoner of Love by GeodesicDragon Chapter 11 Release. Even though I was invited into the throne room, I still felt like I was an intruder as I watched Celestia and Luna with their special sun ponies. But at the same time I couldn't help but feel proud about the fact that were it not for what I said to the princesses, neither couple would be together at all. I thought about what I was missing out on back in Ponyville. I tried to imagine that everything was going on as normal. Well, about as normal as it can possibly get in that crazy town. My visits were infrequent, and when I was there, most of my time was spent with Twilight, Azure, and Evening. Princess Celestia saw the solemn expression on my face and finally managed to tear herself away from worthy cause. She coughed to get my attention, and I swung my head around to look at her. "I'm not surprised you look bored," she said. "My sister and I haven't exactly been the best of hostesses today." I looked over at Luna, who was whispering something to Dusk Wind. He let out a small cackle before clamping his hoofs over his muzzle and blushing fiercely. "I couldn't possibly imagine why you think that, Princess," I said. "But in all honesty, I'm just glad you and Luna took my advice." I thought for a moment before adding, "No, wait. I'm not just glad, I'm actually surprised you took my advice." "It was good advice," Luna shouted, causing Dusk to flinch. "Why are you surprised we took it? I, for one, am glad I did." She nuzzled Dusk, who returned the gesture fondly. "Apologies, Your Highness," I replied. "It's just that I've never had someone listen to me the way you and your sister did. Normally when I gave advice, I was told it was crap." Celestia giggled. "And is that what you think?" she asked me. I shook my head. "Seeing the positive results of my advice has had, I can't say that I do think that," I said. "I think you make cute couples." "Why, thank you," Worthy said, a huge grin on his face. "No problem," I said. "Though I have to say that watching you make out is making me jealous. It's reminding me of all the kisses that Twilight and I have shared, amongst other things." Celestia looked at me with compassion in her eyes. Getting up from her seat, she walked over to Luna and whispered something in her ear. Luna nodded in return, and Celestia went over to her desk. She rummaged around in the drawers before removing 2 scrolls of parchment, a quill, some ink, and her royal stamp. Scribbling some words on the first roll of parchment, she rolled it up and came back over to me, levitating it in front of her. I realized that she wanted me to take it, so I did. Unrolling the parchment, I first wondered why she had bothered rolling it up to begin with. I soon stopped that train of thought when I realized I was looking at a set of release papers. I looked up at the princesses, Luna having joined her sister, and then reread the paper again. I was free. "Fuck yes!" I shouted gleefully, grabbing both princesses in a tight hug. I stayed like that for a moment before I realized what I had just done. I sheepishly withdrew. "Sorry," I mumbled. "Thank you, this means a lot to me." Celestia raised a hoof. "It's not a problem," she said. "My sister and I both agree that you have done us a wonderful service in helping us find our special sun ponies. Therefore, we are helping you return to yours." Luna pointed towards the other scroll of parchment on the desk. "Write Twilight a letter, and I shall send it to her assistant," she said. "Then go and get your belongings. A chariot will be ready to take you back to Ponyville momentarily." "Thank you, Your Majesties," I said, offering them a bow. They responded by giving me a crushing hug. Have you ever been hugged by 2 alicorns? It's nice, but holy hell, is it dangerous to your health. "No, Geo," Luna whispered. "Thank you." I felt Celestia nodding and managed to squirm out of the hug. I rushed over to the parchment and grabbed the quill, writing a short note for Twilight. "Dear Twilight, I'm free. Love, Geo." Folding the letter up, Celestia sent it to Spike as I rushed to gather my stuff from my room. As I packed, I had only one thought on my mind. Where the hell did I put my razor? The chariot dropped me off outside the bar in Ponyville. One of the Pegasi pulling it had suggested that I celebrate with a drink, which struck me as a great idea. As I entered the bar, I heard raucous laughter coming from within, followed by a dull thud. "Yes, I win again," a voice roared. "That's what my MI6 training does for you bitches. Don't be fucking with the spy man." "And here was me thinking I already was," another voice replied. The voices definitely belonged to John and Applejack. I figured that they must be here to celebrate my release, though I was a bit pissed off that they'd started without me. Entering the bar, I saw them sitting at a table, several empty bottles in front of them. Twilight was nowhere to be seen, but I assumed she was with the kids. I put on my loudest voice to get the attention of the others. "And you don't fuck with a guy who needs to see his wife and a cider in his arms pronto." The chatter stopped as all eyes turned to me. Upon seeing me, John cheered and shot over, giving me my second crushing hug of the evening. "Ah, there he is," he said. "Listen, it's about fucking time you showed up, mate. You've got a lot to catch up on." Yeah, I replied, pushing him off me and punching him lightly on the shoulder. "I just want to know why you lot started the party without me. Couldn't you have waited for me for a while?" "Oh, this party isn't for you, silly," Pinkie Pie chirped. "This party is to celebrate Ace's promotion. Oh, and our engagement." "Promotion? Engagement?" I spluttered. "Fuck me, how much have I missed?" I noticed a couple of familiar faces at the table. "Haywick? Sparkplug?" I asked. "What are you two doing here?" "Sit down, mate," John said, "and I'll explain everything." Before I could take a step forward, I felt something grab onto me from behind before my vision was obscured by a pair of hoofs. "Guess who?" Twilight cooed in my ear. "Vinyl?" I asked. "Shit, I know I've missed a lot of work, but I can make it up to you, I swear." Twilight giggled and brought herself around to face me. We looked at each other wordlessly for a moment before latching on to each other's faces and falling to the ground. Hey, yelled the bartender. "Do that somewhere else." The two of us pulled apart and grinned. Twilight led me over to the table and I sat down. John put an open bottle of cider in my hand and smiled. I turned to Ace. "Well, it looks like congratulations are in order," I said, raising the bottle to him. "Enjoy married life, mate. I know I do. All that's left now is get John to propose to AJ." "I have every intention of enjoying married life," Ace said, as John and Applejack exchanged a sly wink with each other. "And the wedding, Pinkie assures me, will be even more extravagant than yours was." I shrugged. "It's not a contest," I replied, taking a swig of cider. "Now, John, you were about to explain to me exactly what the fuck I've been missing out on during my absence." John nodded. Right," he said, scratching his head. "Now, where to begin?" I looked around the table. Everyone was holding on to their special Pony. Dash and Spark, Fluttershy and Haywick, Spike and Rarity, which surprised the hell out of me. Ace and Pinkie, Applejack was lying on John's lap, and Twilight had draped herself across my chest. And as John began his story, I sighed contentedly. Finally, my new life could begin properly.